Hello creatures, welcome to Bound by Words. My name is Maddie. I am a freelance editor, fantasy writer, and the owner of Bound by Words editorial services. So I'm very excited for today's video, not only because we are talking about 8 ways to stay productive with your writing, but also because this video is in collaboration with RP Winters. He has an amazing channel with lots of videos themed around procrastination and getting stuff done and working on your writing. So if you find yourself as a writer who really resonates with that, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to his channel. I will leave the link in the description below. I will be talking about the first 4 ways to be productive with your writing here in this video. And then if you would like to hear the last 4 ways, you're going to want to click that link and check out his channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. So I really like productivity. I want to say tricks, but they're not really tricks. They're just methods to sort of help you stay focused. I really enjoy them because I'm the type of person, especially with my writing, that if I do the same thing for too long, it gets a little boring and it gets a little bit hard to focus and I don't take it as seriously, which is awful to admit, but it's true. I get very distracted. So these are some things that I use to sort of keep myself on course. Some of these things are long-term methods and some of them are short-term methods, and I think a good balance of that is really what keeps me focused when it comes to my writing. Way number 1 to stay productive with your writing is to keep your writing space tidy. Your writing space might be a desk or a table. I have a desk here. It also might be your bed or your couch. Wherever you write, it doesn't matter. Keep that space relatively tidy. At least tidy it up before you sit and write if it is very messy. Now, the reason this helps with productivity is because sometimes clutter can lead to distractions. Not always, but sometimes. If you are writing in an area where there's stacks of books, stacks of notes, little memos, to-do lists, whatever is stacked there, 1, you might get distracted to move on to a different project. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't finish that book, I should sit down and read. But you could also get distracted by the want to clean. So if I sit down at my desk and my specific just writing area is cluttered, then I keep thinking about, oh, I'm writing, but I really should just clean this area. I'm writing, but I really should just take a minute and put all this stuff away. And that's really humorous to say because this area right here where I do the majority of my writing stays pretty clean. I clean it every few days. Whenever I come in and sit to use it, I straighten it up. But this area right off camera is pretty cluttered. But I don't really see this area whenever I'm working. I'm turned towards the wall, so it's less of a distraction. I do have my new reading area that I film there occasionally with the red wall and the black couch. I really like it. It's very cozy. And I have noticed whenever I'm over there, I'm a lot more comfortable and a lot more focused if I declutter the area or keep it low cluttered. I don't stack anything on my couch. I try not to stack anything on the floor around it. And it just sort of makes things run more smoothly. Way number 2 to stay productive is to take on different challenges. Now, there are many challenges in the writing community, and they range from year-long things like Millwordy, which is a huge topic right now. People are trying to write 1 million words in a year. There are smaller ones that are month-long, like NaNoWriMo and Camp NaNoWriMo. There are also challenges that are 1 day or 1 sitting. So, for example, a lot of people are doing 10K word days. A lot of people are joining in live streams. Doing things like sprints are a type of challenge. Live sprints sort of feel a little bit more casual because we're showing up and we're talking and we're interacting with each other, but that kind of community can also help you focus on the sprint time. Usually people compare their word counts or how much they got done, so sometimes that can really make you hyper-focus on what you're doing because you want to have like a good number of words to share. But these challenges do not have to be imposed on you by other people. You can create your own challenges. Maybe you sit down and you say, I really want to finish chapter 1 today. I'm going to challenge myself to finish chapter 1 today and get it out of the way. Maybe you sit down and you're like, I think I'm going to challenge myself this month to writing at least 4,000 words a week. Whatever your schedule is and whatever you want to write, you can sort of create these own challenges in games for yourself. A lot of people use these like with a reward type method, like if I finish my goal, I get this thing. Maybe if you have a book you really want to read that's coming out, you can say, okay, if I make it to the midway point on my novel, I get to buy this book, and it gives you like an incentive to keep going. So these little challenges are great ways to keep yourself motivated and pushing forward to the next goal. Way number 3 to stay productive is to find accountability. And I know this is easier said than done. There are a lot of places that you can find accountability, and you can make it a 2-way thing or a 1-way thing where you're just sharing your progress. There are so many different ways to do this. I think a lot of the more popular ones are things like finding a critique partner, joining joining a writing group. A lot of people during Camp NaNoWriMo join cabins. That's a really great way to find accountability. But there are a lot of easier and readily available ways to find accountability when it comes to writing. One of these is microblogging. So a lot of people don't realize that things like Facebook and Instagram and social media feeds where you're sharing small snippets of things that are happening in your life are considered microblogging. Many people use these as accountability tools. A lot of writers on Instagram have an Instagram page totally around their writing where they share their progress. People ask them questions, they do challenges with each other, they find accountability that way. Other ways to do it is if you have an author website or platform, you can maybe consider starting a newsletter or something like that. Maybe you want to start a blog where you actually share some of the progress and some of the things that you're learning along the way. YouTube is another great way to find accountability, whether you are very active in the comments and in different communities on YouTube, or you start your own channel. This was a way that I really thought I can hold myself accountable for writing this book and for making progress with my writing and for constantly learning. Way number 4 to stay productive is probably my favorite tip, and that's why I saved it for last, and that is to make SMART goals. So SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, manageable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound goals. And it is a system for creating goals that are sort of perfectly tailored to one's life and lifestyle and what your physical skills are, and I really love that. It's a great way to keep yourself accountable and to keep yourself moving. It's also a great way to make goals that are healthy. So we're going to talk a little bit about what SMART goals are and how to make them. If you want a longer video with more examples and more explanation for what SMART goals are, then let me know in the comments and I can definitely do that for you guys. So the first two I think go together really well, and that is specific and measurable, because if something's measurable, it's usually specific. So usually I could check those off with like one part of a goal. So specific, an example of a bad goal would be, I want to write more next month. You can't really quantify what more is, so you don't really know if you completed your goal or not. But if you say, I want to write 10,000 words next month, that is both specific and measurable. So making something specific and measurable gives you like a checklist item where you can say, yes, I did this, or no, I didn't do this, and why, and you can sort of reflect on it. So if you want to write more next month, then think about how much did you write this month? Did you write 1,000 words? Did you write 2,000 words? Did you maybe not write this month? So maybe your goal next month is, I want to write 10,000 words next month. That is both specific and it is measurable. It is quantifiable. Something can, however, be very specific without being measurable. So for example, saying, I want to write every day is a specific goal that is not measurable. And saying, I want to do a writing prompt every day is also a specific goal that is not measurable. Like, what do you want to do with the writing prompt? Do you want to write 5 pages on it? Do you want to write a complete scene? Do you want to turn it into a poem? So be very specific and measurable. Make goals that are quantifiable. So the next two I think also go together, and that is attainable and realistic. So attainable is where you evaluate your skills and you say, can I do this thing? Can I personally do this thing? Or another way to think of it is it humanly possible to do this thing? So it might be humanly possible to write 3 books a year, but can I write 3 books a year? Probably not with the rate that I write and how like my work schedule is. It's not really a realistic thing for me to do. So let's say I only have a few free hours to write a day. An attainable goal would not be write 5,000 words every day if I only have an hour or 2 a day to write. That would not be attainable for me. So for example, if your goal is to complete NaNoWriMo, the minimum word count you have to do is 1,667 words a day. But if you were to write 2,000 words a day and that was an attainable and realistic goal for you, you would also be saving up extra words for whenever you needed a day off. You wouldn't be set behind. I don't make my NaNoWriMo schedules at all close to the 1,667 words a day because I know that I'm very excited at the beginning of the month and I'm very tired and unmotivated at the end of the month. So I take that into account when forming the realistic side of my goals. So it is attainable to do NaNoWriMo for me usually, but it is not realistic for me to do 1,667 words because I know that last week I'm never going to get those words in. So the last one is time-bound goals. This is one of the most important parts of making SMART goals because it really gives yourself a chance to say, did I do this or did I not do this at a specific time? And it lets you reflect on, okay, was this goal in fact realistic, and attainable. So I'm going to use NaNoWriMo as an example again because it's a very easy example. A lot of people are very familiar with the system. So if I said I wanted to write 50,000 words in the month of November, and I really think that is a smart goal, it seems like it is specific and measurable and time bound, and I also think for me personally it is attainable and realistic. And I finished NaNoWriMo. I am super stressed out, I am burnt out, and I only made it to 40,000 words. Then at the end of November, I have the chance to step back and reflect and say, you know what? That wasn't realistic for me. It might be attainable, but it is not realistic for the way my life is and what my skill set is. And that is totally okay. That trial and error allows you to adjust your goals to find things that really work for you. So through doing that, maybe you find your sweet spot where your SMART goal for the month is to write 25,000 words. Maybe your SMART goal for the month is to edit 10 chapters. So an example of a SMART goal that I have for my YouTube channel in September of 2020 is that I want to publish 6 videos on my YouTube channel. I really want to get to the point where I can do twice a week. Right now it seems a little bit impossible, but I feel like 6 videos is doable. That feels attainable, realistic. It is specific and measurable, and it is time bound. I want to do it by the very end of September. The great thing about SMART goals, and my favorite part and the way that we can use them to be productive, is they can be as grand and long or as small as you'd like. You can make a SMART goal to say, I want to sit at my desk and write an hour without moving. It is specific and measurable. It can be attainable and realistic if you have an entire hour and that hour makes it time bound. Or you can do something long-term, like I want to finish writing my new novel, include the name, include the word count if you have it. So for me, I would say I want to finish writing my 85,000 word fantasy novel by December 31st of 2021. That is a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound goal. I can finish my entire manuscript by then. I think that's a little bit too long of a goal, but that was just sort of a nice year-long example. And these goals not only can be anything, but they can be any topic. So I learned SMART goals when I was studying Japanese, and I just liked them so much, and they were so helpful with productivity that I have pulled them over to my writing. They can be used for reading, they can be used for homework, they can be used for your author platform. You can make SMART goals for any subject and any topic, which makes them magic, basically. So you guys know what is happening next. If you've made it this far in the video, then comment feeling productive down below. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe, and head over to RP Winter's channel for the next 4 ways to stay productive with your writing.